Alright guys, if I sound a little muffled, I'm trying to avoid the wind noise. I am now at the other farm where my dad is and where I used to farm on this hill up here. This farm now is being rented out by another farmer. I'm going to do another video on how I used to farm here and that kind of stuff, but I figured I would just give you some more of the terrain here, and I had an idea for a video. First of all, the line goes, I'm just looking, what's that going over there? That tree line all the way, you see that field there, then there's a tree line. That's actually where I'm at, where my farm is. Right in there on the other side of that tree line from where my dad is. You guys remember in the spring I was doing some spraying, and I showed you the hill over here where dad was. He was mowing with his Allis-Chalmers. Looks like somebody's on a four-wheeler in my soybean field from here. I don't know. Alright, so it's a cloudy, cold day. I figured I would just pan around, show you guys this view. You'll notice a field up there, that's also dad's, and there's another one there. Over there you see that field there with the corn in, that's also dad's. So this is his place here, and then you look out, there's a field down there, that's also one of dad's. The farm is actually down, maybe you can see it down there. We're pretty high up here. It's probably 100 feet or more from here down to the farm, but you see how I say we're always, I'm always saying we're near the end of the valley here, and I'm hoping this wind noise isn't a problem. But yeah, you can see where the farmland, there's a little bit more farmland beyond that point, but it kind of goes that way. So anyway, like somebody had told me in one of my videos, that a farm's last crop is a house. And it was a great, and absolutely a great saying, and I hope he doesn't mind if I use it for the title. So you're looking out now. That silo there and that farmstead is where my neighbor is with the combine, and you see the houses now that have started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a huge dirt pile next to that one. That would make number 6. He used to farm, there used to be, I don't know if you can see, there's a grain bin right there. There used to be a big barn right next to that grain bin, a bank barn. And there was a, grain bin, and then there was a big bank barn. That was also part of his dairy operation. All that was farmland up there. And you can see how nice the fields are. I'll zoom out just because I don't know how much it's shaking, but you can see how nice the fields are. Now you see all it takes is usually one house. He had sold this lower plot of land here, and it started, and then now there's a plot, and actually the rest of that is for sale. So it's not going to be too much longer. This view here that was all these nice south, that way south, all these nice south-sided fields that are very long. I don't know if you can get a sense of how long they are from the tree line all the way out through. You couldn't get around it with a bin, one bin full. You had to stop halfway. We used to put the trucks in the center. But there it is. So anyway, I'm not gonna, basically, if it's your land, you can do what you want with it. I'm not gonna be the type of person that gets bent out of shape, I guess, when somebody else sells property. That's somebody else's business, but it does ring true. And like I said, when somebody commented, the last crop a farm produces is a house. You can see we've got a crop started there. So but anyway, this is the hill. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this video, possibly tomorrow. But yeah, if we look over this way, you see that tree line. Right there is the corner of the farm where I'm farming. And this field here actually belongs to somebody else. The same guy that's farming this is farming that. But there's no way to get from here to where I'm at. There's no roads, short of driving through somebody else's property. We look around here behind this tree line. All right, so that tree line is the end of Dad's property. There's a soybean field on the other side. That hillside there, that top field, that's part of another farm. Years ago, my ancestors, the same ones that owned this place, it was another relative that had owned this farm. There was a farm over down in there. My grandfather could have bought it back in the 60s to add to his operation, but he unfortunately already had cancer at that point, my grandmother told me, and she didn't want him overextending himself or taking on more than he could with fighting cancer. He also milked the cows, farmed this place, and also had an off the farm job, so he was working pretty hard. Now it's raining again. So yeah, this is the view from the other farm. Everybody likes the views, but now we're starting to get houses. It's not as secluded and rural as it once was. But yeah, that road that used to come up and around, you could drive up there. The only reason you would have to go up there is if you were going to my neighbors, or there was a couple of houses that were there. Probably back in the 80s and 90s they were built, so excuse me. So yeah, this is the rolling hill over at Dad's. So, and Dad's property, like I say, it goes over. There's a creek down in there. You can't get to that field from here. You have to go all the way around it. That field is actually closer to my place than it is to Dad's, even though it's right there. Whew, it's really raining. So then there's train tracks up there. But yeah, Dad's property, the woods goes out. He does own pretty many woods here. But I'm gonna go inside before I get the camera all wet. All right, now we're out of the wind. Now I know you can hear me. We got a lot of rain yesterday and the day before. We are supposed to for the next 6-7 days. It's gonna be the same summertime rain pattern. It seems like it's back, and it doesn't look good for anybody making any progress with harvest. So it might be a little bit later than November 17th like last year. So yeah, I'm over at the hill. Like I said, I wanted to do a part 2 today. I wanted to shoot that video today of how I used to farm this hill and the crops I used to grow. But with this rain, I think I might postpone that for another day, maybe over the winter time. I can come over here basically anytime I want, so it's not like it's a big deal. I know guys wanted some tours of the dairy barn and stuff, so we might get to that this winter. But yeah, a farm, that was a great quote by somebody. A farm's last crop is a house. And let me put my wipers on here. Now there's 6 of them over there. So it's a shame, but like I say, it's not our property. Years ago, I'll just put this on the end of the video. Years ago, I was thinking of this last night while I was falling asleep. My grandfather never owned any land. This farm had belonged to my great-grandmother, his mom. She owned it. Like I say, my grandfather passed away at age 38, and my great-grandmother owned this property that whole time, and he never owned any land either. I know a lot of guys might wonder how I'm keeping on here with not being a landowner or owning any land of my own. There's no home farm other than this, and it's rented out. My granddad never owned any either. So, but he had, originally my great-grandmother, I was told that in this township where this farm is located, that she was one of the biggest land owners. This farm was one of the biggest farms acreage-wise, total, when she took over ownership. Not row crop acres. That field where the house is up there, where all those houses are, that was actually part of this farm originally that they sold back in, I don't know, it was well before, I think, my grandfather's time. So they had 60 row crop acres here, and I think the total acreage was somewhere around 380, 370 that my great-grandmother owned. A lot of woodland. All the way out through there where you see those trees, pretty well as far as the eye can see, was hers. And over the years, with the hardships with the farm, my grandfather passing away, my great-grandmother was a widow also. So, and then when my dad took over, he had sold some of the woodland, the road frontage off. So this farm now is actually smaller than the one that I'm on over there. And the one that I'm on should be safe because it's ag preservation. There's the development rights have been sold off as far as I understand. I don't know too much more about it, but it's always going to stay a farm. I don't think this farm would qualify now because it has sold land in the past. So you can't see it on the video here. Through the tree line, but that field with the corn in, that's my dad's. There was a field on this side of behind that tree line. There was another field that was like 7 acres, I think, and that was a pretty darn good field. Well, there's a house parked right in the center of it, so Dad had to sell that off at one point. So it just kind of is what it is. But there's about 30 acres here now tillable, and this hill that we're sitting on is probably the biggest field on the whole farm at 15 acres. So, and it's kind of scattered around. You got the hill here, you got to go across the creek all the way around to get to that field. There's another acre field down there that's usually too wet, that doesn't get farmed. Over there's 2 fields, and the one has a terrible spring in it that unless it's a drought year, you can't get in. So I don't know. I'm gonna end the video there, guys, but yeah, you can see the houses and give you a perspective of what I was talking about. So we'll do a part 2 to this. I'll kind of walk you through how I used to farm here, what I used to grow, and that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you tomorrow, and have a good evening.